Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Well, this is something that affects all of us, especially those of us who live in Lagos. There are several types of pollution, which include land, water, air. But there's this major one that a number of us don't even know about because we're so used to it. And it seems to be part of that ever busy and bubbling environment, which is called Lagos. There you go. It's called noise pollution. But guess what? The Lagos state government is now doing something about it. Here. Now, to look at this whole matter with us, it's my pleasure to welcome in our Lagos studio the General Manager of the Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, LASEPA, Dr. Adedolapo Fashawe.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
Thank you for coming. And she's come along with the Director of Pollution Control, Mrs. Bisi Shonibare. Good morning.
Nice to be here.
And joining us from Abuja, we have a health policy and management specialist, Professor Titus Ibekwe. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. Yes. Dr. Fashawe, at what point does noise become pollution?
I'd like to rephrase that question.
Okay, please do.
You want to ask me at what point does sound become noise?
Thank you.
Noise is a pollutant.
Okay.
Standard.
Okay. So there should never be noise.
There should not be noise.
Okay.
If it's called noise, it's a pollutant.
Okay.
Sound becomes noise when, I'll say in words, simple word, it becomes irritating, annoying, repeated, aggravating. Now, scientists have measured what the human ears can accommodate without it becoming noise, sound. It's measured in decibels.
Okay.
We measure both the frequency and the intensity in hertz. So, for regular people, in a regular environment, 75 decibels from the source of the sound to you. Now, as I'm speaking with you, if you measured the decibels of my voice right here, it will probably be higher than 75.
Okay.
But if you're standing 10 to 20 meters away, you shouldn't hear me. If you start to hear me, then I'm shouting and I'm making noise. Nice. That's it.
You're an irritant. Okay, so recently, Lagos State took some steps, which some say are very welcome, because a lot has gone on, and for many people who live in Lagos, it has gone on for far too long. It seems to be accepted that we disturb the neighbor in whatever guise, maybe a church, maybe a mosque, a hotel, a nightclub, you know. It seems to be accepted. So why did Lagos State suddenly wake up and decide enough is enough?
Thank you very much. The issue of noise pollution has been there for a while, but awareness is there now. People are getting to know their rights. If you're in your home, you want to have your peace. So the awareness is there, the social media is there, it's bringing everything to light now. So people have where to complain to. Because recently we've had issues of real life experience of someone going deaf due to long-term exposure to noise pollution. So it is real. So people are like, okay, what do we do? There's an agency of government that is in charge of that. So we receive quite a number of petitions these days. So and we are there to attend to these things. So it's all about awareness, really.
In addition to that, a lot of people have joked around saying there's a new sheriff in town.
Sure.
Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Mr. Governor, Well, Mr. Governor has given this madam all the political will and strength and law
and leeway
to be the new sheriff in town.
So the moment we see that, we should...
No, we don't want noise.
Okay, what about car horns?
Okay.
Before we go to Abuja.
As regards car horns, there are also regulations. It would interest you to know that in the last couple of weeks, we started putting no horns, no noise signposts in some of our general hospitals. Around the theater, around the NICU, neonatal incubation prenatal units, around the labor ward, where there shouldn't be noise. We're targeting that population as a pilot. And it's interesting to note that drivers are complying with that sign in that small population. However, it's a collective responsibility, multi-sectoral, from the Nigerian Police Force to the FRSC, to the NURTW, to us, and to road users. Also, people sitting in the owner's corner. We will do a lot of advocacy and sensitization on when and where and how to use your horns.
I do have a friend who drives, and sometimes anytime I don't want to drive, I call him to bring me out here. And he has this thing about, he's just here on his lane, and he sees the other guy in front of him, not in his lane, not close to him. And I say, why are you tapping the horn? And he says, no, I just need to let him know that I'm here. I'm like, how is that? The person is not even coming near you. I said, no, you don't understand Lagos drivers. You need to let them know that you're here.
I've been to Ibadan. Ibadan taxi drivers, they indicate with horn. You just press your horn and do this, I'm going right too. Meanwhile, so the indicator is flashing right, but they still have to press their horn. And then when they see friends or relatives or a group of people, horn is hello. So it's habitual, and we need a lot of education. That is why I mentioned the FRSC, in Lagos, traffic agencies, LASMA, police, even those ones we call yellow fever. A lot of us are not educated on when and how and where to use our horns.
Okay, let's bring in the professor of otorhinolaryngology. I hope I got that well. Professor Titus Ibekwe. Let's look at, when you're on the road, you're laughing. the terminology is so...
What is it?
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you, what exactly is otorhinolaryngology?
Thank you, Nata. Otorhinolaryngology. Oto means ear, rhino, nose, larynx, the throat. And the ology there means the study.
At the end of this, ear, nose, and throat doctor.
Nose, throat, head and neck.
ENT.
Thank you very much for that explanation. Okay, so please, let's look at the impact of these things. I want us to start from the car horns, because that one is even more glaring on a daily basis. It's like per second you're hearing this thing. How does that impact on your health?
Seriously, this is a very big problem. And that was why I was very excited when I got an invite for this program, despite the fact that today is a very busy day for me, having a book launch and marking my birthday, but I had to weather the storm because this is really very important. Noise pollution, environmental noise, goes beyond what a lot of us know about. You know, people talk about noise affecting the ear, which is the very common one, as one of your guests over there has rightly pointed out. You know, but it's worthy of note that noise itself, including hooting of horns, these are nauseating. Noise is nausea. It's nauseating. It affects the entire system. All right. It aggravates cardiovascular diseases. That is to say, those who are prone to hypertension, those who are prone to having stroke. Noise itself triggers this off and makes sure that it happens earlier than it could have in such an individuals. And of course, as we know, it brings discomfort generally to individuals and to homes. And we know that the certain level of noise can even trigger people into having some psychological disorders. All right? This goes beyond human, even animal lives within and around us. And recently it's been found that high noise index of noise level affects even the growth and thriving of plants and production of fruits. That in a very noisy environment, the productivity of lives generally is very poor. So it is something that is very serious, which unfortunately we are scratching, but I'm very happy that Lagos State government has taken the bull by the horn. They have always been in the forefront of one of the states in the country that has regulations and laws against, against noise and environmental noise pollution. So it is a very serious health problem that should be taken very, very seriously, and people got to know actually how to monitor the levels of the noise within and around them, to know when they are exceeding the bounds, going to those dangerous levels. 50 decibel is what is acceptable for living homes. And it is not rocket science. We know that sound level meters, which are the things that you ought to use in monitoring this noise level around you, is expensive. But now is common, is one of the free apps that we can easily access in our phones. Whether you are using Android or using any other phone system, you can easily download this and be able to monitor the environmental noise within and around you. 75, as she rightly pointed out, is very important. But beyond, 85 becomes very dangerous. Whenever you have 85, you start talking of people developing hearing losses. And the type of hearing loss you have here, I would say, is irreparable, because we are talking of noise-induced hearing loss, which, unlike other types of hearing losses like conductive hearing loss, is amenable treatment. But this one almost defies all forms of treatment. And you can imagine the quality of life that such an individuals are presented with when they stay in noisy environment. And of course, rearing of our children and bringing peace. All this will bring about entropy inside the system of the children. Violence and all those noise escalates it, because noise brings about disorder and abhors peace. So every state should embrace what Lagos is doing today. That is why I'm here. And above all, even the Nigerian government has taken the bull by the horn. November last year, we launched the National Ear Health Care Policy. Embedded inside this policy is also policy against noise and environmental noise level regulation. And the Federal Ministry of Health and the Otorhinolaryngology Society of Nigeria, they're already reaching out. We had a meeting with the Federal Ministry of Environment some weeks back to ensure that the existing laws are really made to be active and efficient within and around the crannies of the country. So we'll be able to segregate between the living homes and the industrialized areas, because this is one of the problems. You see unnecessary encroachments, bringing businesses into living homes. So when people should be home to be able to relax and unwind, all they get is noise around them, which is very unfortunate. We're all focusing on traffic, but we know that there are other common sources. Even the religious homes, as we know, you see them putting megaphones out there. Whereas people you are trying to educate on the religious teachings, they're within a confinement. So you should be able to regulate the volume of sound and noise that is going out. And these are areas that we expect every state to seriously work on. And people using power generating sets, you see it's very rampant everywhere. Instead of people pulling resources together to be able to get one and put it under soundproof, it's going to be more economical, it's going to be environmental friendly, but each and every one of us will want to have ours and generating unnecessary noise within the environment. So I think the time is now. It's really very up. The discussion you're having today is very, very important. That's why
There's no doubt
Okay,
about
Dr.
that.
Fashare, this matter of, besides the religious places and the clubs, this matter of the roads, what happens? I know that some bike riders get trailer horns, and then you find some trailer drivers, they're just, for instance, there was a traffic jam at one point,
Play music.
and his hand was on that horn,
No.
as if the sound of the horn is going to cause the man who is like some 200 meters ahead of him to move and all of that. So, is your agency going to be going after this, or is it just about education first?
Okay. I would tell a story to chronicle the history of education, awareness, and enforcement. When I was in university, some odd years ago, when boys would wear seat belts when driving, my friends and I would look at them and say, he's trying to act like he just came from Jant, as we called it then. Well, why is he doing that thing? It's posing. And then some gentleman came and said, oh, in Nigeria now we have to wear seat belts. And I remember at first in Ife, OAU Ife, in town, bus drivers and taxi drivers would tie their belts across just to, not be caught by the police. So this man came back and started massive sensitization, communication, awareness, showing videos of accidents, neck injuries, explaining why we had to wear seatbelts and deaths. And he backed it up with enforcement. Nationwide, I was going to say worldwide, nationwide, he backed it up with enforcement. And what happened? In less than 9 months, there was full compliance. There was nobody to catch again. When I tell my children that there was a time cars didn't have seat belts, they would say, oh, come on, Mom. And I want to superimpose that story on what is happening now. We need political will. We need cooperation from mass media like we're doing here. We need organizations, unions. There's no difference between federal and states when it comes to protection of the environment. What happens here when we talk about emissions, aside from noise, diffuses through Nigeria. So we need to come together, create an awareness, educate, and people would comply. I believe this so strongly.
But what do you do with people?
Enforcement?
What do you do with people who, they want to sell or open up their shops, they have speakers standing outside, and they are playing music along the road?
Can I read verbatim the Lagos state laws as regards that? It states verbatim, as much as I can, that it is illegal to put a public address system to propagate your religion, your beliefs, or advertise your goods. In fact, in the law, section 185 or thereabouts, subsection 1 and 2, says that to even play cassettes, radio, those things they used to play in those days, it's illegal. Now, before I became the DG of the EPA in Lagos State, I didn't know this. But now I know. And we're going after people. Most people you tell, that's why we have this pamphlet, tell us that, since when? How?
Please hold your thoughts. We'll just take a moment and we'll come back. I'll go on a quick break. When we'll come back, we'll tidy up this matter. And then you get to hear about the benefits of quiet environments. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. We're still talking about noise pollution and the Lagos State Drive. Oh, see this. Let me read out some pamphlet here. Quite interesting. Effects of noise pollution.
Before you go to the benefits.
The effects first, before the benefits. Let me just read this out then. Effects of noise pollution on human health. Disturbance, stress, mental illness, abortion in pregnant women from sudden exposure to noise. Triggers heart attacks. Wow. Yes.
Wow.
You're going to ask it.
Yes, Mrs. Shonibare.
Yes.
Now, how successful has your campaign been? First of all, when did the campaign begin?
It all started in 2016.
Oh.
Yes, we had
3 years.
2016, the aggression about it. We had this Noiseless Lagos is an annual event that holds every May 9th precisely. We bring all stakeholders together. to discuss the issues and solutions. So we engage the stakeholders so that it doesn't seem as if it's a one-way thing. We bring the public together. And then it's there. Then we had, the last one we had was in May this year, and we had medical experts come to do some tests.
You're not succeeding much, are you? Because
Yeah,
the rate
but
at
for
which we
now,
see
we-
Danfo drivers still pumping on their horns.
On the issue of car horns,
Yes.
we're looking at coming back to the horn-free day, which Ministry of Transportation had sometime in 2016. So we are bringing it back. It's an annual thing, just to sensitize them. No horns on that day. So you drive around. We had the success story for that first event.
And
So we
then
are
it just
bringing
died
it back.
now.
Yeah, no,
then
that
it
was
died
Ministry of Transportation. But Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency is going back to that. So we are partnering with them to have that day. It's October 15th. So where no vehicles, you move around Lagos without pressing your horns. So gradually, just like the general manager said,
Would there be rewards? Because Nigerians like to be rewarded for such things.
I'm not sure about that.
Time.
Well, the truth is, this campaign had been on, but I think we all have ourselves to blame. We were not propagating the message with the right methods and tactics, i.e. enforcement. As much as we like reward, we don't like punishment too in Nigeria.
Okay. So this one, Boy Adeyinka asked this question. What happens to the existing law, the Lagos law against noise pollution, when it was pronounced that mosques and churches should get go-aheads from their communities? Have the communities become the enactors or regulators of our societies?
Okay, there is no law that says mosques and churches should get permission from their communities. There's no law. I'd like to know the section and the
No,
subsection.
apparently this is an announcement or
Okay,
somebody
so
pronouncement.
what has
you heard.
happened is, in recent times, when we started our clampdown on noisemakers, I'll just put it that way, we realized that a lot of religious houses and clubs and restaurants have been placed in strictly residential areas. And how has this happened? I buy a property as a resident. Someone comes and says, I want to rent this. I rent it out to him, and he turns it into a church or a bar or a mosque. The primary recipients of his noise are his neighbors in that community. Now, in the laws and in the practice of LASEPA, we serve abatement notices. We try and mediate before we enforce and go on with the full force of the law. Now, in the process of mediation, we came up with a policy, not the law, that says, if your neighbors complain about your existence and we prove that you're making noise with objectively verifiable noise meters, we show it to you, we show it to them, you would have to agree to maintain the accepted standards, and your neighbors who have complained the first time have to be in understanding with you.
They have to be happy.
Yes, that is that policy. Hence, when I seal up a place, before it is opened, we educate you, we give you your level of compliance, and we advise and advocate because of good neighborliness and peaceful coexistence. Go back to the community that has reported you, get their sign off, and they will be our police.
Okay.
LASEPA cannot be everywhere. That is where that policy came from.
Okay.
I insist and repeat, there's no law that says that.
Okay. All right. So the benefits of the quiet environment: happiness, better health, stress relief, increased intelligence, improved relationships with your neighbors and yourself,
Yes.
enlightenment, success at work and school, increases self-confidence. Prof, if you had a word of advice for those that are the noisemakers and those receiving the noise, just as we wind down, what would you say to them?
Yeah, the noisy environment spares no one. Even the noisemaker himself is jeopardizing his health. And above all, he may have some inducement and financial benefits surrounding what he or she is doing. And that is why the health of the recipients, people within that environment, and beyond human beings, as I said, even animals that cannot complain, and other living things like trees are being affected. So it's a source of not only human degradation, but environmental degradation generally. And everything should be done to clamp down on this. And another very important corollary to this is that sometimes we as individuals, we create this noisy milieu just for ourselves and for our consumption, destroying ourselves directly or indirectly without knowing it. Yes, true, when such happens, nobody around is being affected except you and you alone. But your life is important, not only to you, but to the loved ones. What am I talking about? This is just a simple demonstration. If you take a look at this, and this. Very common, the red one on my right-hand side, that's the earpiece, is very fashionable among the very young today. You see them, they carry it around. Some will pin down is within their ears from morning to night. Some students that are studying this is there and permanently there, listening to music. The danger here is that this plugs the entire ear canal completely. And all the sounds coming are channeled within the ear. And this is injurious because the level of sound that you're being imputed inside your ear is damaging and will lead to this noise-induced hearing loss that we're talking about. And when this happens, usually there's no escape route. Even the environmental ambient noise that would have dampened this is not there. So everything is being channeled inside the ear. If you must use, you go for this. Because this is just like a soft pad that gently occludes the ear. And some of the sounds escape and just minimally goes into the ear and is safe enough. So this is very important.
All right, thank you, Prof.
Self-destruction is going on. Individuals are also creating the problem within and around our environment, and we all have to be alive to it.
Thank you, Prof. Doctor, as a white, we're done. So just, your closing.
Yes, in agreement with Prof, I'd like to say you as an individual also owe yourself protection. So we give noise permits, and when we give noise permits, it's time-bound, decibels bound, and you must inform your neighbors. Now, in addition to what he has said, we have earplugs, which we would sell soon, and advocate also for recipients. In an urban society, urbanization comes with noise.
Thank you, Dr. Adedola Fashawe, General Manager, LASEPA, that's Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency. We also had Mrs. Bisi Shonibara, Director, Pollution Control. And from Abuja, we had Professor Titus Ibekwe, an ENT and Health Policy and Management Specialist. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Sunrise will be right back with another interesting conversation. Please join us.